we're in our own shadow journeys. And I'm really struggling in the car on the way to Delphi. And you helped me. And I think this is such a beautiful story of what high priestesses can do for each other, what sisterhood can be.
Oh, how did I help you? I don't remember.
You were like, do you want to talk about this? Because I'd sent these fiery text messages and I was struggling and I was just like, I need a moment.
Oh yeah, this is actually great because I totally forgot. So we go to lunch and I was like, would you like to clear some of this?
Yeah.
And you bravely said yes. It could have been easy to just be like, I'm fine. Which is what most people do. We just deny our feelings. We've not been trained how to feel our feelings, but you bravely said yes.
Yeah.
And so over lunch, we moved into something that I call it's almost like speed therapy. It's a form of emotional alchemy, but I'd say that it is one way that I channel. It's one way that I can sort of jump into someone else's experience and ask a series of questions really quickly that help to peel away the emotional charge so that you can get to your own truth, so that you can get to the truth of that situation and then make decisions based on that. And so I totally forgot about that, but I think it's germane to this conversation because in helping each other and in feeling what is, one of the tools to help with that is in fact becoming a channel, becoming a mirror and letting someone know that they're not alone.
Yeah.
Right? That someone else can feel and see that experience, which helps us to move through it.
Yeah. And we actually got to Delphi, right? After this powerful journey at lunch that you facilitated. And you looked into my eyes and you were like, I'm here with you. Like, I'm fully here with you. And I told you, I was like, this insidious self-hatred that shows up as a rejection of my own beauty, as a telling my body that there's something wrong with it. I was like, it is a defense mechanism against the original pain that still lives in my belly, that is ancestral. Part of it's my mother's pain. Some of it is from the sexual abuse from my father. And I learned at a very young age, rather than feeling my own pain, I will distract myself with these defense mechanisms. It's a defense against my own pain to reject my body, right? And I've seen that so much in our society, that killing witches is gruesome, it's nasty, it's horrific. But if you really want to stop the witches, you teach them to hate and fear themselves, right? If we stop feeling for long enough and we get taught to hate ourselves, we can spend an entire lifetime fixating on that rather than feeling our own pain. Yeah. And I got to go down into the core of it and say, look, like there's this truth where I'm just still so fucking sad. Even after so much work, I'm still sad. It's so deep in my nervous system. And when I sit there, I feel whole. I feel fucking sad. I feel uncomfortable. But I also know my own beauty. I don't have to tell myself lies anymore to distract myself from this deep, epic well of pain. And so like through us and our connection and your wisdom, and you're right, like channeling in that process you took me through, I got whole. And I got whole through moving into my pain. Just accepting that that's what was there.
I want to really celebrate you for naming that, because I think so many people are stuck in some version of it, of fixing themselves, of trying to be something other than what they are, more beautiful, more feminine, more masculine, more straight, more gay, more young, more black, more white, like whatever the thing is, we're trying to be something other than exactly what we are.
Yeah.
And I'd never thought of that as a distraction mechanism from just feeling our fucking feelings.
Yeah.
And like the deeper in these spiritual rabbit holes that I go, and the more plant medicine and darkness cave retreats and having wild activations, like it doesn't matter how many sort of advanced experiences I have, it keeps coming back to the simplest of truths, which is to feel your feelings.
Yeah.
Like that's really like the beginning and the end of this work, is learning how to feel your feelings. And it's one of the things that, interestingly, plant medicine almost renders you choiceless around.
Yeah.
You cannot run from them. You cannot hide from them. And I think that's when people have bad trips. It's like there's a backlog of intense emotions. They've had no training on how to feel or process them. And then you get hit with this like tsunami of it. And that can be really intense. So like, again, just a disclaimer that I don't want anyone to hear this podcast and then like run out and with no meditation, with no breath work, with no therapy, with no guidance, start facing that tsunami of unprocessed or unfelt feelings on their own. But if you do have other practices and facilitation and you're willing to feel your feelings, the amount of magic on the other side of that, the amount of beauty on the other side of that, the amount of eros on the other side of that is truly epic, which is a fun precursor to our next chapter after Delphi.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we can just come home to ourselves and say, like, you know what, I'm just fucking sad.
Yeah.
I'm just sad. I'm pissed off. And the simplicity of that. And yet how we spend so long trying to avoid that. And as a little piece before we hop through Delphi and then into the cave of Pan is that, you know, people are like, Layla, why don't you teach more classical tantra, you know? Like you use all these advanced Sanskrit mantras. Like, why don't you teach that? Why don't you teach these like super advanced Kundalini practices? And I'm like, it doesn't matter to build all this spiritual power. In fact, it can be counterproductive. And to do all these advanced practices, you won't love yourself. If you can't feel your own body, if you don't want to look at your pussy in a mirror, where do you want to go? You know? And so to me, and I think this is a lost art sometimes, it's so easy to get entranced by these advanced, fancy, secret practices, by thinking we're going to get somewhere, by knowing some like secret practice, right? And both of us teach very entry level. You know, you teach meditation. Can you be with yourself twice a day? You know, be with what is twice a day, the power of that. And so much of what I teach is, can you be with your body? Can you be with your eros? Can you love yourself, every part of yourself? Because that is the foundation of anything and everything spiritual to me.